Hey guys, what's up? Today we have something interesting. I say interesting too much, but I'm going to keep saying it because I have a weak vocabulary. This is the Foxtrot mic 102. Let's get into it. My brother brought this up. This is like the firearm. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm going to explain it. This is like the firearm made for the disabled. Now, I don't know how that's going to come across. I don't know how Foxtrot Mike's going to take that. I'm not exactly sure, but it actually is. It's a very true statement. It's a very true statement. Let's get into why. All right, so before we actually get into answering that reason of why, I do need to get some disclaimers. A couple of these things were sent to us. The scope, I don't even remember who sent that to me because it didn't even have a name on it. So apparently they were not happy about the optic enough to put their name on it. But for me, it's been working. This is a Zulisi Owl sitting up here on top. And the firearm itself was sent to me by Foxtrot Mike. They did send this thing out. Now, we had this thing out before. I did a little teaser video thing for you guys. Had a different size handguard on it. And even though, I mean, the only way to not have the controversy would be to delete the video, but I'm not going to do that. When we requested this firearm, I don't think this is in full production yet. I really don't think so. This is the slap mod upper, right? So this comes back like a HK. You slap it and it charges the firearm. I don't think this is in full production yet, and so when they sent me this system, it was in a configuration that was not standard. It had a 12.5-inch barrel, which I requested that barrel length, but then it had a handguard that extended past the muzzle device, right? And it used a brake. I didn't bring the brake with me. I changed it out just because I want to run this guy suppressed. But it has a brake that works hands down better than any other brake that I've ever used. And the pro to that brake is that it worked. It actually pushed the barrel down. It went into negative recoil, right? Instead of, positive recoil, if that's a thing. I'm not sure. But it worked really, really, really well. Downside is it worked so well that those gases coming out of there, since the muzzle device was inside the handguard, it broke the handguard, which is like, no duh, it's gonna break the handguard. That was an oversight that they had when they sent that test piece out to me. That is not a production piece. So I know there's still gonna be comments on the other video talking about stuff, but I'm just gonna leave it there and point people to this video where I'm gonna say the same thing, that was not a production piece. I believe this is more of a production piece. I'm not exactly 100% sure yet if they're gonna have the 12.5-inch barrel with this length of handguard. However they're gonna do it, there might be some differences in actual length of handguard and length of barrel. However, the production pieces aren't gonna have that issue with the muzzle device being underneath the handguard. And if it is, I do believe they have a blast forwarder that is made for that, which would have no ill effect on the handguard. All that being said, that was what was going on up here on the front side. The interesting thing that sets this guy apart from other systems, like we've already said, this is their slap mod version, meaning you lock this open like a MP5 or an HK. HK is an MP5. You lock this guy open. It uses, I forget the nomenclature. These are 102 magazines, but these are 5.56 magazines. Dropping on the ground. AK 5.56 magazines. These I got from Palmetto State. I bought them WBP, whoever makes that. Don't know. The magazine that comes with the firearm. Is this Pro Mag? It's not Pro Mag. AC Unity? It might be AC Unity. Doesn't say on here. It should say. I'm not exactly sure. This is a bad review because I don't know my facts. But anyway, it comes with these magazines, which are a little bit better in my opinion, my understanding, because they have reinforced locking piece on the back here and locking piece on the front here. So it is reinforced with metal. These other ones are not reinforced, but they work fine. And so far they work fine. But that's how you load this guy. Is you lock your charging handle to the rear. You rock and lock your magazine, and it has this kind of a paddle release. There's no button here on the side because this is not a standard, doesn't run off AR-15 magazines. So proprietary, scream that all day. But that's how you would load this guy. Insert magazine, slap charging handle, you go home. Your controls are exactly the same as the regular AR-15. Got your dust cover, your triggers are compatible and all that, and your safety is gonna be compatible and all that. All right. No last round bolt hold open, that is something to note, but that's specifically because these magazines don't accommodate that. Something that is unique to my particular build is, since this is kind of an AK meets AR meets HK, I wanted a solid stock on the back here that gave AK vibes, and I could not find one. There's triangular folders, which is what I had before, and that's when this guy was a pistol. I SBR'd this thing, and then I put on a stock. Basically what I did, I used a JMac custom hardware back here, and I simply fitted an AK stock onto that piece. So hopefully it's gonna work. I don't know why it wouldn't work. It actually lines up well, and I feel like it's just gonna work, and it gives a vibe that turns this guy, like, it turns it into something else. This doesn't look like an AK anymore, in my opinion. What does it look like to you? Are you history nerd buff people, things out there? Does this not kind of look like a modernized Sturmgewehr, if I said that right? Sturmgewehr, that German gun? I think it does. For whatever reason, it gives off that vibe, especially with whatever's going on up here, which I'm not even sure if that's how this guy's going to be sold when these things are like this. But this gives off that Sturmgewehr, again, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, vibe. So, Foxtrot mic, you should look into this, because this is stupid fun, stupid cool, in my opinion. Very easy to do. I think it adds a different flair than you would regularly get. Anyway, let's shoot this thing a little bit. We took off their comp. We put on the war comp because I'm going to suppress this a little bit. I do believe you can get suppressor-specific recoil springs that they suggest if you're going to be shooting this thing suppressed a lot, you need to beef up your recoil spring. They're like $5, I think. I ordered a couple of them. They're not here yet, so I'm not going to shoot this suppressed a whole bunch probably, but we will shoot it and see just kind of how it works. All right, so why did I say earlier that this feels like a firearm made for the disabled? Well, because of the controls, to be quite honest. Now, I obviously have a little bit of a thing going on here. I've got I got 4 fingers on this hand. And my brother, believe it or not, someday we need to get him on here and he can tell his little story. His entire left arm is it's jacked up. It's messed up. He does not have the dexterity that he should have in his left hand. And that can make it a little bit more difficult for regular T-handle style charging handles, the traditional way to grab it and charge a firearm. It makes it a little bit harder for him to work those controls. Generally what he has to do is run extended charging handles and basically palm that charging handle and run the gun that way. Well, with this system, he doesn't have to have the fine motor skills. You can literally palm it. Use your gross motor skills to lock and open. You can use your gross motor skills to put in your magazine, and to take out the magazine, you don't even need fine motor skills necessarily to push a button. You could use your other magazine and do that. Gross motor skills. Again, it's very AK vibe-ish. And again, to charge it, slap it forward. That's why I'm saying this could almost be marketed towards those who have arthritis, older folks to some degree, people, again, I hate to keep throwing the disabled word around, but it really could be marketed towards people like that. Again, no last turn bolt hold open. It's fine, it's fine. If we were to do a, well, that would make sense. If you were learning how to work this thing, if you did that, if you went click, no bang, it would make sense to lock it open, get your other magazine, do that. And this is non-reciprocating for those that are wondering, because I would wonder that too. I wouldn't want that. Let's put this on at 25 yards, shoot at the middle target. I know you can't see anything, so let's just watch the gun work. All right, I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. Let's go look at those groups real quick. All right, so I know this is not a fluke because we did this the other day when we had this thing out. This is our first 3-round group, basically 3 rounds touching. And we adjusted the sight because since we did change out the muzzle device, it would make sense that the you know, the zero is going to change. Accuracy didn't change, it stayed very accurate, and then we just adjusted our zero up to here. So again, another 3-round group. I'm happy with that. This is only like 25 yards. Only barely 25 yards. I'm not really reaching it out further today just because of what we got to work with right now. I don't want to go traipsing through the snow too much, but about 25 yards, that I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. A little bit of height over bore, a little bit teeny tiny height over bore, right? So if you punch it out to 100 yards, you'd have a different zero. But as far as accuracy goes, very happy with that. Look at the ejection pattern. Our ejection is going forward. So if we do a couple rounds, yeah, we're shooting it forward at about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and it is a little bit gassy. Let's do 5 rounds. Yeah, you do build up a little bit of gas. There is some gassiness there, but that is, I don't know, to be expected, not expected, it is what it is. All right, guys, so there you go. That's a quick little look at the Foxtrot mic M102. Leave the magazine in there, it looks cool. I made a big deal about it being a firearm for the disabled. It's really not, but it is. It's not, but it is. It's not designed for that, but it would work very, very well for that. So far, my experience with Foxtrot mic products is they push the boundaries a little bit. Not just to be different and stupid and just change things for the sake of changing things, but they change things for a purpose and for a reason most of the time. Even the whole debacle with their bolt carrier groups. Did you know you can pull out their own bolt carrier group, or their own bolt, the bolt out of the carrier, and you can put in your favorite mil-spec bolt. So I don't want to hear people crying and whining about proprietary parts. That's the dumbest thing I've heard in my entire life. You can't take a 1911 barrel, even though it's been around for so long, and stick it in the Glock. It's not going to work, right? And you're not going to cry about it because you're not going to expect it to. When a company takes a system and then builds on top of that, don't get mad when those generations of firearms that come from that are not compatible with your very first original favorite firearm. They're not the same thing, so they're not going to be compatible, all right? Something to be said about that. Something to be said about that. Somebody's got their panties in the wad, and somebody probably still will. All right, so I need to charge a battery. We're almost out of battery, so we're gonna shut this thing down. This is pretty cool. This whole system's cool, whether you have dexterity problems or it's super cold weather outside and you need to, you know, it's harder to manipulate the firearm under those circumstances. This is definitely something to look at. Or do you just like the look? Part of this is just the look, and the look of this guy, especially when you add this little stock thing here, I think it sealed the deal. I think this is really cool. Let me know what you guys think down below. I appreciate Foxtrot Mike for sending this thing out, Zulisi for the optic, and whoever this other company is who sent this other optic. You didn't want to put your name on it, so you don't get a shout out. But I appreciate you guys for your support, and I appreciate you viewers for your support watching the channel and everything. If you want to support any other ways, we do have merch, we do have Instagram, we do have a Patreon. Patreon knew about this a long time ago. No, they know about other things coming down the road, so I appreciate them, really, really do. Y'all be good to be safe. I'm gonna shut up and do something else, all right? Y'all take care, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.